Hello everybody, I'm Dave Chaos and welcome to another Hardware Heaven review. Today we're going to be having a look at the Hauppauge HD PVR 2, which is good. This is the new HD PVR, and of course this is again works for Xbox, PlayStations. You can also use it on PC as well now. Yeah, we're going to have a look at what's in the box. It includes all sorts of funky stuff, and they've got a new software which allows you to stream onto Twitch and Ustream. Ustream's not as used as much as Twitch, but still, we'll have a look at the software as well, which goes with this. So, let's see what's in the box. So here it is. Let's have a look at what it says on the box before we open it up. So here we go. We've got record PC console gameplay in high definition to your laptop or PC. Let's zoom in a little bit more for you there. So you can do live streaming, like I said, straight from the console. It's got a built-in record button, which we'll have a look at. HDMI cables, full surround sound audio recording, surround pass-through, which is good. It's amazing audio video quality. Of course, this is 1080p instead of 1080i like the previous version. Yeah, and a few other bits and bobs. So let's open it up and have a look. Oh, and just to point out that your Mac users now, it'll work for you on the Mac. So that's good. Right, so let's just zoom out all the way so we can see what's going on. This thing comes with quite a lot of cabling, which is very, very handy, very nice. Let's get it all out so you can see exactly what you get. So, you get your power cable, very small, similar to like a foam one. And there's the connector buried in there. There we go. Then you get all sorts. There's your composite connector, and then a connector for just about everything. So, I don't think these are labelled, but this is the USB. So that'll be for the PC. Composite cable there. Not too sure which is which, because I only have an Xbox, I've never had a PlayStation, but there's your HDMI cable, so that's going to come in handy. We're actually going to hook this up as well. There's another HDMI cable, so there's HDMI in, HDMI out of course, and composite cable, so that would be for the PlayStation I imagine, because we don't need to worry about that. But here's the device itself, and as you can see straight away, from the size of it holding in my hand, it's a lot smaller than its predecessor. So here we go. Very sweet, very small. Just what I like. So here we have a light bar that goes all the way around it, similar to how it is on the front of the box. Let me just show you there. This green light goes all the way around here, like that, and that's your indicator light, so it shows you when you're recording, when it's on standby, when it's doing all sorts of different stuff. This is the new button that they've added, so you have it all hooked up to your PlayStation or your Xbox or whatever, and say you're in the middle of the game, you decide you wanted to just quickly start recording, instead of having to like mess around or do anything or pause the game or whatever, you just hit this button and it instantly starts recording. So that is fantastic, and of course with the light bar on there, it will indicate when it's recording, and then you just press it again to switch it off. So that's a nice little feature. On the back you'll see you've got your power, USB, the AV in, which is for the composite cable. This thing here goes into there, and you can plug in your old PlayStation. You've got your optical cable there, then you've got HDMI in, HDMI out. There's also infrared just here. So that is basically it. This is the thing. So all I can do now is show you it set up, and we'll have a look at the software that they've redeveloped for it. Okay, once you've got your Hauppauge HD PVR 2 all set up and plugged in, what you want to do is install the software, which I have already done, and you'll see a couple of tools. So you've got the Hauppauge device central tray, which sits in here in your device, your task manager I should say, and if we can just bring up this, it'll bring up bits of information about the actual device and what it can do. But that's not what you need. What you need is this program, which also installs, called the Arcsoft Showbiz. So if you fire that up, you can have a look at this. Okay, so basically this is a very, very simple video editor, and you'll see at the top that there's a few options. So we've got produce. So we'll have a quick look on there. So we can actually burn to CD, or we can create files, or we can also upload to YouTube. Now if I just click the YouTube one, which is what most of you would be interested in, basically says can't do it, there's no project there, which is fine. So for that you're going to need capture. So if I click on the capture page, it brings up this new tool. So if we let this tool load, it takes it a second. It will connect to the HD PVR, which is in turn connected to the Xbox, and we should get this. There we are. If we bring this to full screen, you can now see a preview. Now, you've got to remember this is a preview of what you can see on the Xbox. If I actually try controlling the Xbox now, there is a delay. And that's because I'm not viewing this through a TV monitor or a normal monitor. This is coming through the USB, so there is a bit of a delay. So if I press right now, it takes it a second for it to actually... Yeah, so obviously it's happening on the PlayStation. I keep saying PlayStation. Xbox. It's happening on the Xbox, but of course there's a delay because it's coming through the USB, and that's because this is just intended as a preview. So let me show you what you can do. So in the top right hand corner we have got sources. So you've got a few different sources, and of course I've got a few different programs on this computer which I can pick from. So we've got like my webcam, the HD PVR itself. DxTory is my video editing video recorder that I use, and we've got XSplit Broadcaster as well. So what you do, you basically just click on the Hauppauge HD PVR in the list, and it will bring up whatever that is receiving on the preview pane, which is what you can see. Then you've got your audio inputs. So if you just drop this down, we've got HDMI and the line in. I've got a secondary HDMI because of equipment that I've got plugged into this machine. Then we've got device settings, which brings up this thing, tells you about the device. You've got your video decoder settings, which is the same thing as what's in your task manager. Video proclamation, and then some video settings as well on here. So you've got brightness, contrast, hue, and all that sort of business that you can mess around with. So okay that. But the exciting stuff comes underneath the format settings. So if we click on there, it stops the feed because you can change all sorts of things in here. So you've got the H.264 encoder settings in here, and you can see that it gets quite complicated. For those of you who don't know what you're doing, I suggest you don't touch any of this. But for those of you who do, you have these tools available to you with this software. You've also got the video encoder, which you can change bit rates, peak rates, all that sort of stuff. Video properties, so more bit rates editing there. Audio properties, you can change the audio bit rates in here, mono, stereo. And we've got the version, and you've also got dynamic noise reduction as well on there if you want to be messing around with any of that sort of stuff. But like I say, some of you will be quite happy with the basic settings. If you don't know what you're doing, I suggest you leave it like that. So the next thing in the list is the formats. So I would suggest, if you are using Sony Vegas or anything for that matter, you're probably best to stick with MP4, because that's probably the most friendly format for Sony Vegas and YouTube itself. YouTube's favourite format to process is MP4. So I would, this is my personal opinion of course, I would stick with MP4. But you've also got, of course, M2TS, which is quite large in file size when you record, and you've also got TS. You can use hardware acceleration if you've got multi-core threading with your processor. Then you've got your save formats down here, which you can also select, and of course we've got it selected on MP4. Then you can tell it where to save to, and there's also a video capture button right there. But like I was saying earlier, if you are already in game, you can just touch the button on top of the HD PVR, and that will automatically start recording to the videos folder. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of recording with Fez, And like I say, my Xbox isn't plugged into a monitor, so it's not going to be fantastic gameplay. But the whole point of it is so you can see the quality of the video, which I'll attach to the end of this video, and then I'll do a quick wrap up. So that was a short clip of some gameplay which I recorded on the HD PVR, and as you can see that there's no degradation in quality. It looks as good as it's supposed to look, so I'm quite happy with it. I found it quite easy to set up. There was no issues. The software installed very easily. Once you got everything plugged in, you quite literally just hit the record button, and that is it. Away you go. It's not a problem. The video editing software that comes with it is very basic, but the upload options in there are quite good. Yeah, and considering you don't have to pay any extra for the video editing software that comes with it, it's quite nice, because Sony Vegas and things like that are, you know, as you well know, are quite expensive. So, in closing, I would say the HD PVR 2 is very good. It's a good upgrade from the previous version, its predecessor. It's a little bit smaller. It's got some really great features like the quick record button on top. So I'm going to give this a Hardware Heaven recommended.